Okay, I'm here, and I'm going to do another chapter before I got to fold my clothes. And we're on chapter 9. It's kind of a short chapter, but I figured it's less confusing this way. So I'm going to try to get as much of this done as I can because I'm always busy doing all kinds of household things. Alright. Here we go. Bugsy Siegel is finally able to relax. But it is a grueling Friday, and the charismatic Jewish mobster is looking forward to a weekend of peace and quiet. Ben, as he likes to be called by his friends, flew in from Las Vegas just after midnight, and then spent the day in meetings. He had dinner with film producer Alan Smiley at a fish restaurant south of Monaco. Now married to Siegel, whose wife just filed for divorce in Nevada, sits on the couch in his mistress's rented Beverly Hills mansion. Reading the Los Angeles Times early edition, that mistress, the volatile red-headed Virginia Guinea Hill, flew to Paris several days ago. A few months back, Siegel hit the 30-year-old Alabama native so hard she required plastic surgery. Their relationship had not been the same since. Siegel believes Virginia had traveled to France to select wines for his new casino, but that is not the case. For years, Jenny Hill has played role of courtesan for the Chicago mob, unbeknownst to Siegel. A couple of weeks ago, a Chicago mobster suggested she get out of Las Vegas for a while. Hill left immediately. Now in the house with Bugsy Siegel and Alan Smiley are Ginny's brother Chuck and his girlfriend Jerry Mason. And the two later testify that Bugsy seemed to be in good spirits while enjoying the rented pink 7-room Moorish-style mansion. Troubles with his mistress and wife notwithstanding, life is finally settling down for the 41-year-old Siegel. His tremendous wealth and fondness for publicity have made the handsome, blue-eyed, Natalie, a tired mobster, a regular fixture in New York, Los Angeles gossip columns, taken the bold risk of developing high-class Flamingo Hotel has only heightened Siegel's image of charismatic gangster playboy. His appearance and mannerisms have become so recognizable to the American people that Movie Studios recently released a Looney Tunes character in which Bugs Bunny briefly impersonates a mobster that looks like Siegel. But the truth about Bugsy Siegel is much darker than a cartoon. He is prone to arrogance and streaks of rage. Born of poor Australian Hungarian immigrants, Siegel began roaming the streets of New York as a child. He made his reputation in youth gangs of Brooklyn, formed an alliance with Meyer Lansky at the age of 12. A hair-trigger tempered and penchant for violence earned young Benjamin Siegel the name he would carry the rest of his life. That of Bugs, as in the crazy as a bedbug. His name Siegel loathed. thus ensuring that no one calls him Bugs to his face. Together, Siegel and Lanzi become the Bugs and Meyer gang, extorting push cart vendors for protection money and otherwise competing with Italian and Irish gangs for control of street action, but those rivalries subsided as the two men grew older by their mid-20s. Both were working in alliance with Lucky Luciano and more powerful than Italian families. In time, Bugsy Siegel established himself as a hitman, engaging in several famous murders. Although Siegel's actual number of hits is in question, it is known that he worked alongside killers like Albert Anastasia, Vito Genovese, and Lucille himself in the brutal world of Murder Incorporated. While developing the Flamingo, he even startles his construction supervisor by making the joke about mafia killings. Del Webb blanches at the comment. Siegel calms him by stating, "Relax, we only murder our town." Though the Bugs and Meyer gang prospers enough for Siegel to own an apartment in Manhattan's Waldorf Astoria Hotel, his notify brings FBI security. His notoriety brings FBI security. So in 1936, the suggestion of Meyer and Lansky Siegel moves to Los Angeles. The mob is expanding from its traditional bases in New York, Chicago, and Cleveland, and Siegel quickly acts to take control of West Coast mafia activity. Working in conjunction with Mickey Cohen, 5 foot 5 inch former featherweight boxer, one-time enforcer for Al Capone in Chicago, Siegel oversees gambling, prostitution, off-track betting, and narcotics in California. A close friend with famous actor George Raft, a fellow son of Jewish immigrant parents, allows Siegel to cultivate Hollywood. He soon pals around with actors Clark Gable, Gary Cooper, and Cary Grant. Siegel's fondness for excitement leads him to a number of ill-fated schemes, including one that would have sold arms to Italian director Benito Mussolini. But now far-fetched scenarios are put aside. Bugsy Siegel's entire fortune hangs on the Flamingo Hotel. Casinos and hotels already exist in Las Vegas, beginning soon after the state legalized gambling in 1931. Among the first was a gambling-only joint called Paradise Club. This was soon followed by accommodations like El Rancho Vegas, Last Frontier Hotel. Soon the roadway connecting them became known as Las Vegas Strip. And it was here that Bugsy Siegel envisioned the gambling mecca. He soon began spending time in Las Vegas dining with local politicians in order to curry favor, but Siegel's criminal past was well known. His attempt to purchase a ramshackle casino named El Cortez is denied by city's officials, and Bugsy hears that a casino development led by Billy Wilkerson, founder of the Hollywood Reporter magazine, is just outside the city limits but running short of funds. Masquerading as a potential investor, Siegel purchased 2/3 to take in what will eventually become known as the Flamingo. Within a short period of time, he takes complete control. Bugsy Siegel names the newly acquired resort after his girlfriend, Virginia Hill, whose shapely legs remind him those of a pink limbed Florida bird's. But be careful for what you wish for. Years of construction woes take a heavy toll on Siegel, straining his relationship with longtime allies Lucky Lucinio and Meyer Lansky, with whom he often becomes irritable and short tempered. Siegel does not know about the Havana Conference or how close he is to losing his life because of the Flamingo's coast outruns. He is also unaware that Meyer Lansky has temporarily saved him. Buying time for Siegel to pay back the mafia investments, Lansky's plan does indeed save his friend's life. The Flamingo reopens in mid March. By June, it is turning a profit, bringing in millions each month. Siegel has begun paying back the mafia loans, instantly cashing out anybody who requests immediate reimbursement. The casino is packed each night, the spa getting rave reviews. The most of 105 rooms are booked. In addition, the showrooms have become a Las Vegas entertainment centerpiece. So Bugsy Seal is now comfortable spending time away from the resort, enjoying a quiet time of dinner and light reading. He knows the FBI is watching him, and that his international narcotics empire with dealers in Mexico is attracting the attention of Harry Anslinger of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. Yet he seems to be unconcerned because of the excess of what Bugsy Siegel is all about. In his whole life, Siegel has never convicted of a major crime or been held accountable anyway for his violent behavior. He is wealthier and more famous than Don Dillinger, Pretty Boy Floyd, and Babyface Nelson combined. In fact, if any of the mobster's life can be considered charmed, it is that of Bugsy Siegel, or so he thinks. A man needs to be careful on Virginia Hill. Beautiful, voluptuous, and bipolar daughter of backcountry southern mule trader first learned the power of her body when she became sexually active at the age of 12. By 14, the future queen of the mob is married to a man named George Rogers, whose fate is lost to history. By 17, she's living in Chicago, working as a waitress at San Carlo Italian Village during the World's Fair. Therefore, she catches the eye of the mobster Joe Epstein. The bookmaker is gay, but sees Hill as good things and Southern drawl as a potential asset to the outfit. Once that girl is under your skin, it's like cancer. It's incurable. Epson later confides to Mayor Lansky. Virginia Hill quickly becomes the sexual plaything of the Chicago mob. Passed from Mafasco to Mafasil as at a Christmas party in 1936. She shocks onlookers by performing oral acts on at least half dozen gangsters. By age 20, Virginia Hill is Joe Epstein's personal spy, dressed in jewels and furs. She flies back and forth from Chicago to New York to gather information about the East Coast crime business. She sleeps with Joey Adonis during that period, but is distracted by the man whom she will have a torrid decade long romance, Bugsy Siegel. Ginny Hill is not completely faithful to Siegel during their time together. At one point, marrying and divorcing Mexican rumba dancer Carlos Gonzalez, then 19-year-old college football player Ozzie Griffith, all the while funding her lavish lifestyle by accepting money from Epstein. She dabbles in running her own Mexican narcotics outfit, but her specialty continues to be performing sexual favors to gain privileged information. In silence, Chicago mobster Jack Dragna once comments that Hill is the only woman who could be trusted to keep her mouth shut. Virginia Hill considers Bugsy Seal her main lover, even though the gangster often beats her so hard she bruises. During one fight in 1944, he punches and rapes her when she refuses sex. Later, that attempts suicide, swallowing a bottle of sleeping pills. Her life barely saved when Siegel rushes to Las Vegas hospital to save her stomach pumped. To have her stomach pumped. Siegel and Hill often argue violently, dreadful bouts of screaming and swearing casually overheard by neighbors during otherwise quiet Beverly Hill nights. She loves Siegel enough to risk her life for him. Flying to Switzerland with the money he has skimmed from the Flamingo, then departing to the hundreds and thousands in cash in a private, unmarked Swiss bank account. Siegel talks to her about one day leaving the United States to enjoy all the money in Europe, and she believes him. Still, Ginny breaks up with Bugsy time and time again and swears that she despises Las Vegas, even punching a flamingo cigarette girl in the face when she catches the Seagull flirting and sending blonde Dexter to Clark Hospital with two broken vertebrae. All the while, Hill listens carefully to each word Siegel says and reports back to Joe Epstein. On June 8, 1947, Epstein orders Virginia Hill to immediately catch a plane to Chicago. She will later tell authorities she left Los Angeles due to a lover's quarrel. From Chicago, Hill flies to Paris, leaving the 7,000 square floor rented house at 810 North Linden Drive in Beverly Hills, available should Bugsy Siegel wish to take a weekend break from Las Vegas to Flamingo. 12 days later, Siegel takes her up on the offer. Now in the living room, just 4 feet to his right, Siegel throws his left arm over the back of the couch and reads the Times. A terracotta statue of Bacchus, the Roman god of intoxication, stands atop the nearly grand piano. An oil portrait of a nude woman holding a wine glass hangs on the wall. The curtains are open. A reading lamp illuminates Bugsy Siegel's face. At the very moment, mobsters Sedway and Gus Greenbaum of New York Mafia have just arrived in Las Vegas. They have orders from Meyer Lansky and the Lucino family to enter Flamingo's offices and take control of the operation. In the Chicago, Virginia Hills puppet master Epstein, in just hours away from catching a morning flight to Las Vegas, assists the Flamingo's reorganization. In Paris, Virginia Hill has planned to party into the morning hours on board a luxury houseboat down the river Seine bank back in Beverly Hills. The night is almost pitch black, illuminated by the thinnest of crescent moons. Outside the living room window, a shooter stands on the neighbor's driveway, steadying his 30 caliber military style MI carbine against the lattice work fence covered in roses. The nearest street light is 100 yards away, ensuring the assassin works in complete concealment. The gunman is fewer than 10 feet from Bugsy Siegel as he pulls the trigger 9 times. Siegel is dead before he can feel the agony of steel-jacketed bullets tearing into his skull. One of the 9 shots fired, one goes through the fabric of Alan Smiley's suit jacket. Instantly, the producer drops to the floor and cowers. The other 4, destroying the statue of Bucharest and piercing the nude portrait on the wall. These shots aren't, keeping Smiley pinned to the floor long after the assassin makes his getaway. 2 bullets strike Siegel in the torso. Though these are not fatal. Not is the round that enters Bugsy's right cheek and exits through the left side of his neck. However, the slug penetrating Siegel's face at the base of his nose, then entering his brain, which force that his eye popped from its socket, immediately kills the gangster. The bullet castings found outside are 2 inches long, given that the shots are taken from such close range. There is little chance the assassin could have missed. Los Angeles police will later conclude that the killer is a marksman, leading some to believe that Virginia Hill's brother, a Marine based an hour south of Camp Pendleton, is the shooter. Others will say New York Mafia, tired of Siegel's behavior, is finally completing the hit Meyer Lansky successfully argued against in Havana 6 months ago. To this day, no one knows exactly who killed Bugsy Siegel. However, shortly after the assassination, Meyer Lansky expanded his operations, eventually becoming the most powerful force in Vegas gambling world. As for Virginia Hill, she soon married a ski instructor and moved to Sun Valley, Idaho. However, that did not last long. Miss Hill eventually returned to Europe. But even though she was trying to escape the mafia world, Virginia could not bring herself to separate herself from the mob, and the consequences would be staggering. Alright, that is chapter 9. I'm going to end this and then start another stream and do chapter 10. And thank you for listening.